Welcome back, Be Beautiful people. This is a second introduction to breath focused meditations because this is one of the most vital parts of this course that you're presently going through. And remember, we want you to be you to the fullest in every aspect of your being. So I'm giving you this second introduction because you are going to begin performing breath focused meditations. And I want you to know exactly how to do that. So with that being said, let's get right into this second introduction to breath focused meditation. All right. So before you begin performing breath focused meditations, I want to reiterate some important things you need to remember when it comes to meditation, how amazing it is, and just how much it can actually help you overall. So let me start off by telling you some of the amazing things that meditation can and will do for you if you actually know how to properly perform it. First and foremost, meditation is a form of mind-body medicine. And you reap the medicinal benefits of mind-body medicine by doing what? By performing mind-body exercises. And meditation, especially breath focused meditations, are one of the most popular forms of mind body medicine. And keep in mind that mind body medicine is an alternative or a complementary form of medicine that can heal you and strengthen you, just like modern medicine can. So, as we begin this second introduction to meditation, let me briefly talk about the four specific ways that breath focused meditations can heal you, empower you, and increase your overall level of health and well being. So, the first way that meditation can help you is by exponentially increasing your power of concentration. And this is important because anything you have to do, whether it is work or play, you have to concentrate on. So, obviously, strengthening your power of concentration will help you do everything better because it increases your ability to do what? To focus and concentrate. And I will explain exactly how meditation strengthens your power of concentration a little bit later in this introduction. And the second way that meditation can heal you, empower you, and increase your health and well being is by helping you conserve and save a tremendous amount of your overall energy. And meditation doesn't just help you save energy, it also helps you redistribute this saved energy and utilize it in other parts of your life where it is more needed. This is called thought reduction and energy redistribution. Human beings think between 10 and 70,000 thoughts per day. And what is amazing is that energy follows each one of these thoughts. And if you find the average of 10 to 70,000 thoughts per day and break it down to minutes, check this out. It equals approximately 200 different thoughts every 5 minutes, 40 different thoughts every 1 minute, and about one thought every 1.5 seconds. Now, that's a lot of thoughts. And what meditation does is help you lower this excessive amount of thoughts, which results in a tremendous amount of energy saved. Your energy, your precious energy. Remember, energy follows every thought that you have. So if you reduce the number of thoughts you have, what will happen? You will save energy, precious energy. And to help you understand this even better, your brain, which is the control center of all of these thoughts, utilizes up to 60% of all carbohydrates you consume. Why carbohydrates? Because carbohydrates are our first energy source. And why is our brain using so much energy? Because energy is needed in order for you to think and produce thoughts. And if you are thinking one thought every 1.5 seconds and up to 200 thoughts in 5 minutes, that's a lot of energy used. Or should I say that's a lot of energy wasted? And why would I call this wasted energy? Well, because it has already been statistically proven, listen to this, that out of that 10 to 70 thoughts you have per day, 80 to 85% of them are harmful and unnecessary thoughts that cause unnecessary stress, worry, and anxiety in your life. Unfortunately, people produce stressful thoughts about things they shouldn't even be stressed about. For example, people create stressful thoughts about not getting enough likes on social media or making a small mistake that is easily fixable at work or in their personal life. People create stressful thoughts about having a small argument or disagreement with their spouse or loved ones, or worrying about things from their past that definitely cannot be changed. Unfortunately, these are the types of things that the majority of people are thinking about and stressing about. These are the types of thoughts they are producing. And like I said before, these type of thoughts are harmful because they create unnecessary stress, worry, and anxiety. That does what? What do these unnecessary stress, worry, and anxiety thoughts do? They cause your body to activate its stress response. And every time your body goes into the stress response, it reduces your immune system's ability to function at an optimal level. And what this does is allow disease and illness to manifest more easily within your body. And that's dangerous. So that was the second way meditation can help you, by helping you reduce the excessive amount of thoughts that we have daily. And the third way that meditation can help empower you and increase your overall health and well-being is by helping you to increase your attention span. Now, this is something that automatically happens as you strengthen your power of concentration. Like I stated earlier, people think one thought every 1.5 seconds. And if I'm thinking a different thought every 1.5 seconds, it is obviously quite hard for me to keep my attention and focus on one single thing for an extended period of time. The average person's attention span is a little over about 8.5 seconds. And this is reduced from the 12 seconds it used to be in 2000 due to what? Due to an increase in constant digital input and distractions. But a simple breath-focused meditation performed for 5 minutes twice a day can significantly increase your attention span and help you maintain a better focus at whatever you are doing. And this is important because increasing your attention span enhances your overall productivity, no matter what you are doing. It also helps you learn how to manage stress, and it fosters better relationships. Why? Because a key factor in proper communication involves what? It involves the ability to maintain your attention on the individual you are communicating with. And lastly, but just as important, meditation helps you to activate your body's natural relaxation response. Why? So you can conquer, reduce, and reverse stress. And how do you activate your relaxation response? By utilizing your breath. You do it by focusing on your breathing and gently making your breath a little deeper and a little slower. And what this does is cause signals to be sent to your nervous system that activate what? Your body's natural relaxation response. And once you learn how to activate your relaxation response, you can do it at any time or anywhere in order to eliminate stress, worry, and anxiety, or any other mindset that's causing you mental stress or emotional discomfort. Just like your stress response is a built-in mechanism of your nervous system, your relaxation response is also a built-in mechanism of your nervous system. But instead of preparing your body for perceived danger, it does the opposite by sending signals to your brain that calm your body down and put your body back in a state of proper digestion and relaxation. This reverses the physiological changes brought on by the stress and help shift your energy back to the vital systems and organs that need it. And the extraordinary thing about your relaxation response is that it is always at your disposal. You just have to voluntarily activate it. So at the beginning of this lecture, I told you that I would explain how meditation strengthens your concentration. So let me explain this to you. And once you understand this, it will make meditation much easier to perform because you actually know what you are doing and how to actually perform the mind-body exercise repetitions while meditating. The reason why so many people get frustrated when learning how to meditate is because they don't understand the process or how it works. Now, I have already explained how meditation activates your relaxation response when you begin to meditate and cause your breath to become a little bit deeper and slower. But how do you actually get to the point in meditation where this happens? Well, it only takes about 2 to 4 minutes of this deep and slow breathing to actually activate your relaxation response. But a lot of people can't even make it to the 2 minutes because they don't truly understand the process. But after this explanation, I promise you, you will. All right, so let me start with the easiest to understand definition of meditation. And you've heard me say it in other lectures, but I'm going to say it again because it's very important to know this and break the stigma that the word meditation has created across the globe. So here's the most easiest to understand definition of what meditation is. Listen, meditation is concentration, and concentration is simply holding your thoughts on one thing. So meditation is simply holding your thoughts on one thing. That's what meditation is, period. And most people find it hard to perform meditation or hold their thought on one thing because they don't understand how it's supposed to work. Meditation is an exercise. That's why they call it mind body exercise. And the reason why most people don't have success meditating is because as soon as they lose focus on whatever they're meditating on or holding their thought on, they get what? They get discouraged. And this disrupts the process because losing your concentration while you are meditating, listen, is actually a vital part of the whole meditative process. Like I said earlier, your mind thinks between 10 to 70,000 thoughts per day. So it is very difficult to hold your thought on one thing or to meditate or concentrate on one thing, especially if you have never tried to do it before. So it is completely understandable and completely expected that you will lose your concentration. The question is, what do you do once you have lost your concentration? What do you do once you realize that you are not holding your thought on whatever you are meditating on? That's the question. And you will learn the answer right now. Okay, so now that I've given you this intro, which was very important, now we can discuss how to actually perform the repetitions during meditation that will strengthen your power of concentration. All right, so there are two specific parts to a repetition when performing meditation or mind-body exercise. These two parts are realization and refocus. These are the two parts of the repetition when performing mind-body exercise. Just like there are two parts of the repetition when you are doing a physical exercise, right? Okay, so let me give you an example. If you're doing a push-up, there is the negative part when you are lowering yourself to the ground, and then there is the positive part of the repetition when you are pushing yourself back up. And both the negative and positive parts equal what? One repetition. So just like there are two parts of a repetition when you are doing physical exercise, there are also two parts of the repetition when you are doing meditation. And like I said a minute ago, these two parts are what? Realization and refocus. And the meditation we will use as an example so you can fully understand the concept of how to perform a repetition during mind-body exercise is a breath-focused meditation in which your point of focus or meditation is your breath. And in order to fully explain how these realization and refocus repetitions are performed when meditating, I have to explain how to perform a breath-focused meditation so you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I will briefly do that right now. All right. So when performing a breath-focused meditation, the first thing you have to do is find a breathing focus point. And what is this? It is a point on your body where you can focus on the action of breathing. And there are 3 points on your body that you can use to actually focus on your breath. The first one is your nose, where you can feel the air going in and coming out as you inhale and exhale. The second breathing focus point is your chest, where you can feel it rising as you inhale and lowering as you exhale. And the third is your stomach, as you feel it rising as you inhale and lowering as you exhale. These are the 3 breathing focus points you can use when performing a breath-focused meditation, because the entire point of a breath-focused meditation is to keep your focus on what? Your breath. So once you have found which breathing focus point you want to use, then you can begin the breath-focused meditation. And to start off, you first have to find a comfortable position, either seated or laying down. And once you have found this relaxed position, you simply have to focus your attention on your breathing focus point and begin making your breath a little bit deeper, a little bit quieter, and a little bit slower with each breath. And now, this is where the repetition comes into play. This is where the realization and refocus repetition comes into play when you're meditating. Because if you just began meditating, or even if you're a novice, you will lose your concentration eventually, and your mind will wander to something else other than your breath and the breathing focus point you were using to hold your thought on your breath. But that is okay, because this is the first part of the repetition when it comes to mind body exercise. The first part is what? Realization. And what is realization? Realization is simply realizing that your mind has wandered and you are no longer focused on your breathing. And the second part of the repetition is what? Refocus. And what does that mean? It simply means that once you realize your mind has wandered, you simply refocus your attention back on your breathing focus point and continue to make your breath a little bit deeper, a little bit quieter, and a little bit slower. And what did you just do once you did that? You just performed a repetition of mind body exercise. So every time your mind wanders when performing a breath focused meditation and you realize it and refocus your attention back on your breath, you just perform one repetition of mind body exercise. And just like doing a bicep curl makes your biceps stronger, every time you realize you have lost your focus and you intentionally refocus back on your breath, that is a mind body exercise repetition that just strengthen your power of concentration. And these repetitions of mind body exercise don't just strengthen your power of concentration, they also help you reduce the same unnecessary thoughts that I spoke about earlier, which helps you conserve a tremendous amount of energy, avoid unnecessary stress, and keeps your immune system functioning at an optimal level. And let me give you one more example of how this works so you can have a full understanding of the power of meditation, especially if you do it right. All right, so let's say, for instance, you perform a 5-minute breath focus meditation. And in that 5 minutes, your mind wandered, say, 60 times. And every time it wandered, once you realized that it had wandered, you refocus your attention back on your breath. And you perform this 5-minute meditation once per day for the entire week. Well, the next week, when you perform that same 5-minute breath focus meditation, because of the repetition from the previous week, your mind will only wander, say, approximately 50 to 55 times. And the next week, which will be your third week, because you have been performing this meditation once per day for 5 minutes and practicing the repetition of realization and refocus, your mind will only wander approximately 40 to 45 times. And each week, as long as you are consistent in performing this exercise, your mind will wander less and less. And eventually, you will be able to do this 5-minute breath focus meditation without your mind wandering at all within that 5 minutes. And what does this obviously show? That your power of concentration has become stronger because you can now hold your thought on one thing for much longer than you could before. So meditation, if performed correctly, will help you strengthen your concentration and become better at any and everything that you have to concentrate on, whether it's work or one of your personal hobbies. Plus, this also shows you that you have obviously increased your attention span, which is another thing I mentioned at the beginning of this lecture that meditation can actually drastically help you improve. And lastly, as I also mentioned at the beginning of this lecture, I can now show and prove to you how the same meditation and mind-body exercise that strengthens your power of concentration can also help you reduce the crazy and excessive amount of thoughts you have per day, especially if 80 to 85% of them are already proven to be unnecessary thoughts of worry, stress, and anxiety. And to do this, let's go back to the statistics that we talked about earlier, the number of thoughts that people have per day. And remember, we've already established that people think 200 thoughts every 5 minutes. Because like I said, I want to show you how the same 5-minute breathing meditation can also help you reduce this crazy and excessive amount of thoughts that are definitely unnecessary and are a detriment to your health. Okay, so if I perform the same 5-minute meditation we've been talking about, and I get to the point where I can actually hold my thought on one thing for an entire 5 minutes, what does this mean? It means that I have reduced the 200 thoughts that I would have been thinking in that 5 minutes down to 1. So what did I just do? I just reduced my overall thought count for that day by almost 200 thoughts. And I did that by simply performing a 5-minute breath focused meditation, which also means I reduce the amount of stress, worry, and anxiety that comes from this excessive amount of overthinking. So think about it. If I do 3 to 4 of these simple 5-minute breath meditations per day, I can reduce the number of thoughts I have exponentially. And what else does this prove? It proves that I have saved a tremendous amount of my energy. How? Because, like I said before, energy follows every thought. And since I reduced my number of thoughts, I've obviously saved energy. And in this program, I'm going to show you one of the easiest breath focus meditations in the world so you can begin this process of strengthening your power of concentration, saving energy, increasing your attention span, and learning how to stop and reverse your stress response and turn it into relaxation in the blink of an eye. Like I said earlier, this breath focused meditation I'm going to show you is called DQS breathing. And the DQS stands for deeper, quieter, and slower. And it is one of the easiest meditations to perform, especially if you are learning how to properly meditate so you can reap the amazing benefits that come from it. Because you have to remember, meditation is a form of mind body exercise. And if you perform the exercise correctly, that's when you can get the best out of it. So now you know exactly what meditation is, how it works, and what type of amazing benefits you can get from it. All right, beautiful people. I'll see you in the next lecture.